Good evening everyone, my name is Lucip, and for today's video I will be discussing to you the second topic. It's all about evaluation approaches. Evaluation approaches are the various conceptual arrangements made for designing and actually conducting the evaluation process. So when we say evaluation approaches, it is distinct ways to think about design and conduct evaluation efforts. It is uncertain education approaches to help solve problems, or you will be able to conduct an evaluation to your learners. The first liberal democracy, it is the first major classifications of evaluation anchored by House 1990. All major evaluation approaches are based on this common ideology. First is believe that an individual has a freedom of choice. He is unique. Evaluation a process guided by empirical inquiry based on objective standards. All evaluation based on subjectivist ethics, individual subjective experiences. Next is forms of subjectivist ethics. First is utilitarianism. What is good is defined as that which maximizes the happiness of society as a whole. So, utilitarianism, for example, if you are choosing ice cream for yourself, the utilitarian view is that you should choose the flavor that will give you the most pleasure. Or shall we say, as a future teacher, in doing discussion in front of the students, make it sure that they are listening to you. Make it more lively so that their attention is into you. And the second is intuitionist or pluralist. No single interpretations of the good is assumed, need not to be explicitly stated nor justified. So for example, if someone intuitively believes that lying is wrong in principle, despite not having a specific argument for this belief, so the person may decide not to lie simply because lying seems to be a bad thing. So each ethical position has its own ways of obtaining knowledge or epistemology. So next is epistemology. So epistemology is about the theory of knowledge. It is a ways of obtaining knowledge. So for example of epistemology is that if a person always gives the right answers to questions about a certain topic under conditions, one would be entitled on that view that to say that the person has knowledge of that topic. So that is about the epistemology. So knowledge is acquired which is capable of external verifications and evidence. It is an intersubjective agreement. Through methods and techniques universally accepted and through the presentations of data. So the subjective epistemology is associated with the intuitionist or pluralist ethic. It is used to acquire new knowledge based on existing personal knowledge and experiences that are explicit or are not tacit available for public inspection. So here are the utilitarian ethics. Intersubjectivity is the sharing of subjective states by two or more individuals. Intersubjectivity emphasizes the shared cognitions, and consensus is essential in the shaping of our ideas and relations. So in social presence, example in having free expression, encouraging collaborations. In a cognitive presence, there are exchanging informations, connecting ideas, applying new ideas. In teaching presence, example setting curriculum and methods, sharing personal meaning, and focusing discussion. So there are two knowledge we will be discussing. So first is tacit knowledge. So tacit knowledge, it is unwritten, unspoken, and hidden vast storehouse of knowledge held by practically every normal human being based on his or her emotions, experiences, insights, intuition, observations, and internalized informations. So tacit knowledge, it is refers to knowledge, skills, and abilities of an individual gains through experience that is often difficult to put into words or otherwise communicate. Next, explicit knowledge. It can be readily transmitted to others. The information contained in encyclopedias and textbooks. So, explicit means it is a knowledge that can be readily articulated, codified, stored, and accessed. For example, in books. That is the example of explicit knowledge. So, three groups according to their organizations towards the rule of values and ethical considerations. First is the political orientation. It promotes a positive or negative view of an objective regardless of what its value actually might be. So, political orientation, it is an evaluations that fail to produce and report valid assessments of merit and worth to all right, or to know the audiences. Next is the question orientation. It includes approaches that might or might not be provide answers specifically related to the value of an object. Third is the values orientation. Includes approaches primarily intent to determine the value of some object. So here we talk about the goals and objectives. So in goals and objectives, they're similar in that they describe the intended purposes and expected results of teaching activities and establish the foundation for assessment. So as we can see in the module, they are given objectives they provide in the modules. So there are three types of learning objectives which reflect different aspects of students. First is the cognitive objectives, affective objectives, and behavioral objectives. So in cognitive objectives, it is what do you want your graduates to know? So it means unsay dapat mahibalaan nila o sa imong estudyante about sa imong topic. And then in effective objectives, what do you want your graduates to think or care about? And then the behavioral objectives is what do you want your graduates to be able to do? So, for example, when you are teaching about the folk dance, so all you can to do is you have to teach them the basic skills of the folk dance so that they could apply this. What are the basic steps in folk dance? So that is all about the goals and objectives.